welcome to Too Many Movies, the podcast where we discuss DVDs, Blu-rays, and even the occasional VHS tape. I'm your host, Hal, and with me here is Too Many Movies alum, Mr. Bamason himself. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I am tired.
We all are.
We all are. I'm so tired of all these 2022 movies. Hey, let's talk about it. This is kind of the honorary 2022 retrospective for the podcast. I watched quite a bit of movies this year, 58 to be specific, so far.
Yeah, same here. 2022 was a pretty good year for movies, in my opinion.
I thought so too. Sort of.
Yeah.
Kind of. I mean, here's the thing. It's like every year has its pros and cons. That's not like anything out of the ordinary.
Yeah, for sure.
Every year is going to have its fair share of shit. It's also going to have its fair share of good movies. I'm still trying to figure out whether like some of these movies are ones I'm going to be returning to over time. I think some of them are, but some of them aren't. Nick, I'm curious to know, like, what is your worst of the year, would you say? What would you say?
Without a doubt, Jurassic World Dominion. That movie, as a Jurassic Park fan, that movie broke my heart. I remember when the movie came out, I was doing a job in California, and I decided to go to the Chinese theater to see it. And I saw it in 4DX, which I thought would be fun. It wasn't. It was like a massive headache factory.
Yeah.
Like every time a dinosaur roared into the camera, which was often, I'd get blasted with like cold air. And it wasn't like a fan. It was like very pressurized air. Like it was like being sprayed.
Damn, that theater don't lie. The dinosaurs really do roar.
Yeah. It's like every time I'm nodding off, I just suddenly wake up.
Yeah, that's definitely one that, while it wasn't my least favorite, I definitely understand why people hated it. I think the reason I didn't hate it as much as other people is because I was just so jaded at that point with Jurassic Park that I'm just like, I guess it could have been worse. It could have been a lot better, but who cares at this point? It was always supposed to be bad. I think it's the same reason why I didn't hate the Netflix Texas Chainsaw Massacre as much as other people did. Like, people fucking despise that. And
I saw.
Yeah, it's bad. Don't get me wrong, it's bad, but like, I don't know, I've seen worse. Again, I had seen every other Texas Chainsaw movie up until then, and trust me, that franchise gets abysmal.
Yeah, with Texas Chainsaw, you'd have two good ones. Like the original second one is debatably good. With Jurassic Park, only the first one is good. It was the only one I rewatched when prepping for Jurassic World Dominion. I was just like, I'm just gonna watch the first one. And the only bar that Dominion had to clear was not be worse than Fallen Kingdom, and it couldn't even fucking do that.
It probably is worse than Fallen Kingdom.
Without a doubt.
I'm still debating whether that, but I think at this point it might be.
Without a doubt, in my opinion, Fallen Kingdom at least had interesting cinematography. At least.
Sure. So my worst of 2022, and this is mostly by default, was a movie called Moon Crash, which everybody remembers Moonfall, right?
Oh yeah, I still haven't seen it.
Oh, you haven't? Oh, dude, you got to get in on it. You got to get in on the Moonfall sweep.
It's got what's his name? He's from the Conjuring movies, right?
Yeah, Patrick Wilson.
Yeah, him. I confuse him with Patrick Warburton.
Oh, they're two very different. Well, yeah, no, I can understand that. But anyway, so the good people at Asylum thought that Moonfall was going to be a hit, so they made a rip-off movie that came out around the same time as Moonfall, and they called it Moon Crash.
Why the fuck would you do that?
And it's It's bad. Oh, it's bad.
It's bad, all right.
You know how bad it was? It was so bad I don't remember a single thing about it.
Really?
And yet I know I watched it. I have it logged.
It's
but
there.
I can't remember a damn thing about it.
Holy fuck.
Yeah. I guess other notable bad movies from this year was stuff like Chip and Dale, Secrets of Dumbledore.
I still haven't seen either of them.
Good. Ice Age of Buck Wild. Remember that?
Oh my god. Yeah.
You and me watched that together.
Yeah, we did. I really wish we recorded that.
Yeah, that would have been funny. Also, a movie that I told you about, Paws of Fury, that came out this year.
Yeah, I keep forgetting that was a thing, and that came out in theaters.
It did, unfortunately. I can't imagine going to see that in theaters. That's one where it's like, no way. Like, absolutely no freaking way.
I'm taking my kids to see, not to see, I don't know, Thor, or like, I'm gonna take my kids to see fucking Paws of Fury, The Legend of Hank.
Yeah. All right, before we get too negative, why don't we talk about a couple of positive movies? So, you did see Puss in Boots?
Yeah, speaking of positive.
That's positive, yeah. So that's kind of the big thing recently was Puss in Boots.
Yeah.
We don't have to go into like too much detail. I just want to mention that I saw it, and yeah, it's really freaking good.
It's not as good as like Spider-Verse.
No,
like,
no
of course not. But it's still like considering like how DreamWorks has been for like the past few years. And I've heard like the first one is all right. Like I've heard that people compare the two, and the second one is like infinitely better.
Oh, it's so much better. I've seen the first one twice, not out of my own volition, just 'cause, and I can tell you it is fine.
Isn't Guillermo del Toro in the first one?
Yeah, but he's like an actor in it. I don't think he has anything to do with like the story or anything. 'Cause,
that's so weird.
Yeah, that is weird, but I guess he just has a lot of friends in the industry that he can be like, "Hey, can I be in this movie?" And they're like, "Sure." I mean, are you gonna pass up Guillermo del Toro?
Sure, but like, why of all things, Puss in Boots? Like,
I don't. Maybe he believes in the character. But in any case, yeah, no, The Last Wish, honestly, it is so much better than the first one. Even just on, like, an animation level, but even just beyond that, like, the story, the characters, like...
I love the concept of the way they portray death in this movie.
Yes, the villain is much better in this one.
Like...
well, I mean, there's a couple villains in this.
Yeah, like... I think the only scene that I didn't like was when... Puss was in like the Cave of Lost Souls, and Death was kind of just like spelling out his whole thing.
Yeah,
I mean,
well, that's the thing. That's the thing about the movie is that like on a story level and character level, I mean, it's good. I wouldn't say it's great. Like again, it's not Spider-Verse levels.
Yeah,
it's just it's above average when it comes to this kind of stuff explored in a kids movie. Like. You know what? Like it's fine. I'm not expecting Shawshank here, but it's again, it's not Shawshank, but it's not Trolls either. So there you go.
You're laughing. Singing killed his grandma, and you're laughing.
Exactly. Yeah, no, you're right. It is a little spelled out. I get it. It's for kids, but you know, you can still make a movie clever and made for children.
Like it's kind of obvious from his design. Like he carries fucking scythes, for crying out loud. It's obvious that he represents death.
Yeah. Which, I mean, I think it's still handled very well. But yes, it is very on the nose. So that definitely does make sense. But yeah, I liked Puss in Boots. I will say the one scene that kind of shocked me, well, besides the excessive death in the movie, because there's a lot of death in the movie, but like even just like a little moment that really surprised me was that scene when he first meets Death and they fight, and then like it's like a close up of Puss's face, and like that red stuff starts like dripping down. He starts bleeding. And I'm like, he starts bleeding. Like at first I was like, oh haha, it's a kids movie, like it's gonna be like jelly or something, but then it's like, no, that's actual blood.
That's blood.
It's like, whoa,
he's gonna die. Like
a movie with balls? Holy shit.
This movie isn't fucking around.
Yeah, and even if it was just like a it wasn't even that much. I get it because it's a kids movie. You
Yeah.
don't want to be gory, but like any of it was like really cool to see.
Yeah. On the same subject, like there was a joke I remember with the dog character who I thought was going to be so annoying in the movie. Like
Mm-hmm.
I looked at him and just thought, "Oh God, is he going to be the new Olaf or something?"
Yeah.
But no, he was surprisingly like very tolerable.
Yeah,
There
he
was a
wasn't great.
there was a funny scene with him where he was like naming off stuff, and then one of he was like, "Oh, I go by many names," and he was naming off a bunch of insults, and one of the things was just like a bleeped thing.
That was an interesting scene because like they did that exact same joke in the DC League of Super Pets movie with The Rock,
Oh yeah,
um, where they had like a turtle character just randomly bleep. Like, I will give it to this movie. At least it's part of the joke, like because he's actually naming off names and that's the joke. Whereas like in the League of Super Pets movie, it was just kind of random. Like there was no point. They were just like, "Oh, we're edgy." It's like, no, you're not.
I think it's
Um,
funnier like when I've heard people complain like with like stuff like Has Been Hotel or like Sausage Party where it's like, oh, the only novelty is like these animated characters swear.
hmm
I think it's funnier when it's like censored. You know what I mean?
I think so too. I
Like,
mean, well, it depends on the context, of course. Like I
yeah,
said, the
of
DC
course,
League of
but
Super
like,
Pets, where it just randomly throws it in, it's jarring and it's not funny. Whereas here, it it is jarring and a little funnier here. I mean, it is just kind of out of nowhere, but it it plays more of a part. And yeah, it is a little more shocking because it's a kids movie and it's not as excessive.
yeah.
It's a lot. It's a little more clever than well, anything's more clever than Sausage Party, but
I mean, come on, yeah,
yeah, that's not a high bar to reach.
yeah, that's
Uh,
true.
in any case, was there any other like 2022 movies you wanted to quickly talk about before we get into the other
The
2022 movies we wanted to talk about in
real
great
meat of
detail?
it.
Yeah, the real
Uh,
meat.
Glass Onion, I thought was really good.
Mm-hmm.
I
I
understand that you have some mixed thoughts on it.
Yeah, I mean, I know exactly what it's going for. Like, I feel like what it's going. I mean, because I think it's not a spoiler to say that the movie is trying to be a stupid movie. Like that's kind of the thing it's going for. In which case, yeah, I get that. I completely 100% get that.
Yeah.
It's just that, eh, it didn't really work for me. I mean, it is honestly 100% a personal thing. I mean, it's hard for me to watch a movie from like recently and to see like people wearing masks and name dropping COVID. I'm just like,
I think it's just
like
kind of a recency thing. Like
yeah, it's
in
definitely a
10
recency
years,
thing.
well, in 10 years when COVID is kind of like just kind of long gone,
Hmm
I feel like it would be less annoying.
Yeah, probably. It's like if like a movie from like 2012 had like lull random humor, you know? Like it's just kind of a product of the time, so it's just again, it is a total 100% personal thing where I can't get it past. But like I get why people like the movie, and I understand. I don't hate it
Yeah.
by any means. I could watch it again. Like I 100% want to see more Benoit Blanc movies.
Oh
I'm
yeah.
curious to see what Ryan Johnson does next with the character. Honestly, like
I
whether or not I like it, I'm very curious to see it.
Yeah, more Benoit Blanc sounds like I want to see more like 30 more movies with him.
Yeah. If they make a whole movie where he just plays Among Us, I will watch it.
Yeah, me too.
All right.
What do you say
Cool.
we get into the real meat potatoes?
Yeah, the real meat and potatoes. The real. I have no way of trying to segue this into the Batman, so I'm just gonna say it. Hey, we watched the Batman. Let's talk about it.
It's the bat.
So I haven't talked about it on this podcast, but I did make a video review for it back when it first came out, and I liked it enough. I thought it was a good Batman movie. I'm just like, yeah, I thought it was good. I thought the characterization was pretty good for what it was. I thought the movie looked great. I thought the score was great. Like I thought it was a good movie.
Yeah.
What were your thoughts initially when you first watched it?
I think a lot of the positivity I had was more for the hype around it. Like,
Mm-hmm.
when you kind of see a movie and you kind of get swept up in like the hype.
Yes.
I think
I trust me. I've been a victim of the hype for numerous movies before. I get what
yeah.
you're saying.
But like I think this one was kind of that. Like I thought it was a
Mm-hmm.
lot better than Joker. Like Joker is a movie that got worse with time in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
But the Batman I can see aging like really well, especially since like it doesn't lean too excessively on the Batman mythos, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it had its own like interesting story to tell. While with Joker, it was like, oh, this guy lives in a society with, and then we're gonna shove in Bruce Wayne in a movie where he doesn't need to be in it.
I think that's funny that that movie shoved in Bruce Wayne, whereas this movie kind of does shove in Joker at the last second. I
Yeah, but
mean,
like
again, it is just like one scene, whereas like Bruce Wayne was in a couple scenes in Joker. It's like, yeah, you could cut him out entirely. It doesn't really matter.
yeah,
It's been a while since I've seen Joker, but yeah. In any case, yeah, I that was one thing I was kind of worried about with this movie. You said like the hype kind of swept you up. I agree. I was kind of hoping the hype wouldn't sweep me up because like I was watching through every Batman movie to prepare for it, similarly to how I watched every Spider-Man movie to prepare for No Way Home.
yeah,
And it was just interesting seeing like the different takes on Batman, like the goofiness, the serious takes. It was very interesting, and it was awesome because I got to rewatch The Dark Knight, and I freaking love The Dark Knight, and that was definitely something that I felt would come up when discussing the Batman,
yeah.
especially almost a year later. It's still something to consider, like where does the Batman rank among other Batman movies? Like, is it better than The Dark Knight? Which, personally,
Not really.
no, I do not subscribe to that. I am still a hardcore Dark Knight fan.
It's better
live and
than
breathe it.
Batman v Superman by like
Well,
a
yes.
country mile. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess that's fair to say. It's better than BVS.
Like, did you
yeah.
revisit the Snyder films at all when you were
No, no, actually, I didn't. I probably should have, but I was just like, nah, I don't want to.
Pass.
Hard pass. Yeah, so no, and upon rewatching the Batman, I gotta say, I still really like it. Like, there are definitely things I'm not super into, but I think that's not necessarily the movie's fault. So, like I was saying, like, is it better than The Dark Knight? I think it's unfortunate that it has to exist in a world post The Dark Knight because it's kind of
Nolan.
hard. Post Nolan, especially, it's kind of hard to judge this movie post Nolan. Like, if the Nolan movies had never existed, I could see the argument that this would be like the best Batman movie ever made, or it's like up there.
I'd say
It's like,
it's like in the same level of quality as like Batman Returns, maybe. Like I say this as like a big fan of Batman Returns.
mm-hmm.
Like I like Batman Returns better than the original.
I mean, yeah, that's pretty fair to say. I think I prefer the original Burton film, but I haven't seen those movies enough times to really get a grasp of what my thoughts truly are. I know I like them, but like I'm trying to still figure out like where I would rank them.
Yeah.
Whereas like the Dark Knight movies, like I love The Dark Knight, I love Batman Begins. I'm starting to really not like The Dark Knight Rises again.
I still
it comes and
really
goes.
like The Dark Knight Rises, regardless.
Yeah. I would say I like the Batman more than I like The Dark Knight Rises.
Yeah. At least you can understand what the Riddler is saying.
That's true. Ave Maria, Mr. Wayne.
This
I'm
is
just
not
trying
how
to-
this was supposed to go.
You're a big guy, Riddler. For you. I don't even know what I'm trying to make a joke on. But in any case, yeah, so it's hard. It's a hard movie to really kind of separate, because you're just thinking the whole time like, oh, this reminds me of that movie, this reminds me of that movie. It's like, it is annoying, but I will say, despite all the comparisons I make, I still think it's a good movie. Like, it's paced really well despite it being 3 hours. I think it has a lot of good action scenes, a lot of good cinematography. Like, a lot of the shots are really good in this movie.
Yeah, the cinematography really does a lot of the heavy lifting, in my opinion.
Yeah, it's a really good Halloween Batman movie. Like, I could watch this around Halloween just because, I mean, it takes place around that time, but also just like the oranges and the reds and the city.
Blacks.
Oh my god, they're really good. They're really gothic looking. It's a really good Halloween Batman movie.
And I also got to say, I was on board with Robert Pattinson as Batman since like day one. Like, I remember when people thought, oh, Twilight fuckboy, literally.
Mm-hmm. I mean, apparently every Batman actor gets scrutinized. Like, everyone's just like even far back as like Michael Keaton, people were just like, there's no way he could be Batman, and then like he's Batman. Like, people are saying that with that Ben Affleck, and I mean, say what you will about those movies, people seem to really like Ben Affleck as Batman. It's like,
he's a highlight, that's for sure.
Exactly. So yeah, I was never opposed to Pattinson. I just didn't know what to expect. And then I saw him and I'm like, yeah, I can see this as it's different enough that I can see him being his own version of Bruce Wayne. But like, he still gets the credentials correct for the most part. Like, every time he's like in a room in the bat suit, like, I'm just like, that's Batman. And like, it's a little weird with Bruce Wayne, but like, I've never really been a hardcore Batman fan, so I can't tell you what my ideal Bruce Wayne is. So I think he played the part well.
I think the scenes where he's like in the Batcave, like alone with the eye makeup still on his face, I'd say, yeah, that. I think they got it right there, because they got the attitude just perfect.
Oh yeah. And especially for the fact that, like, he's a young Batman. Like, this is his second year as Batman. So it makes sense that he's a little juvenile, you know?
Yeah, this is like his emo phase.
Yeah, would I have preferred, like, a Kevin Conroy-esque where, like, he's, like, this a lot more gritty and, you know, a lot more in control of things? Sure, but, like, again, it's his second year. He's not going to be, like, 100% on his game. So I get that. Yeah, no, it's I also was kind of worried that like the 3 hours would just like kind of make it slow, but I mean, some scenes in the middle kind of drag a little, but like there's enough atmosphere in the movie that like it keeps me interested. Like, I'm never having a bad time watching the movie.
Yeah, me too. I think that it could have been like shaved a bit, like Sure. It definitely did not need to be 3 hours. I think it could have been like, they could have shaved off a solid like, at most 30 minutes. Like,
I guess so. Yeah. I will say the reveal, like the twist, quote unquote, was a little weak because I'm just like, oh, was that supposed to be surprising? You know how it's like he discovers that like Thomas Wayne, you know, dealt kind of shady deals and like the government is corrupt and like,
rich people eat the rich, all that.
Yeah, it's like, okay, like, yeah, that's I'm not mad that that's in a Batman movie. I'm just kind of confused. It's like, oh, is this supposed to be a twist? Because like I thought that was the point. That's why he became Batman, was because the system is so corrupted. You know.
Yeah.
That's why he's Bruce Wayne. He doesn't become like an elected official. That's why he becomes the Batman.
Yeah.
Because he's carrying out the justice that the system won't. So it was just kind of a weird thing to see. It's like, oh, okay, I guess this is a twist, quote unquote. But like, whatever. Like, it's a superhero movie. I'm not expecting Citizen Kane levels of one-to-one politics to real life portrayal.
I'm not expecting cutting edge political commentary.
Exactly. I'm expecting, you know, something from a superhero movie that 13-year-olds would go and be like, whoa, this movie kicks ass. You saw Batman, he fucking drove through that fireball. It's like, that's the level of politics I'm expecting, which is pretty bare bones, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, it's just something that I can make the Wojak face at.
Exactly. It's a perfect movie to Wojak at.
Oh, the bat! It's the bat! It's the bat!
I will say when the Batmobile started, when that scene where like the Batmobile like turns on for the first time, I was getting pretty giddy. I was just like, oh, he's gonna do something cool, and then he chases the Penguin. It's a good chase scene, I gotta say.
Yeah, it's a great, just everything with the Batmobile is great. What'd you think of Paul Dano as the Riddler?
I thought he did a good job. I don't know if I would say it's like up there with Heath Ledger's Joker, but it's one of the better Batman villains I have seen.
I mean,
I think he plays the part well.
Consider like the last Riddler we had was Jim Carrey.
Well, I mean, I'm quite partial to Jim Carrey just because of how stupid that movie is, and how stupid that character is. But if we're going with Riddler in a serious tone, I think Paul Dano does a great job. I think for the tone that the movie has, and having such a ridiculous villain like the Riddler in it, they pull it off nicely. They do keep the cheese as they should. They don't go fully serious with it, but like they do enough. I think they make a good balance of it.
I'd love to see. Sorry, go ahead.
I was just gonna say they have the funny Paul Dano scream, but then they also have the genuine like gut wrenching kind of serious moments as well with him. So it works. It definitely works.
Yeah, the scenes where he's like on the news with the mask, like I'd say is genuinely pretty intimidating.
Mm-hmm. But and then whenever he just like does the funny scream where he's just like, oh
no.
Yeah.
I remember seeing a meme where he was like trapped in a microwave.
Does he know?
Does he know? What's he cooking?
What's he cooking?
I'd love to see how Matt Reeves would portray the more goofy Batman villains, like like Mr. Freeze. Like I know that Mr. Freeze has a serious side, but come on, it's a guy that shoots ice at people.
I think Matt Reeves could do it. I would love I think they are making a sequel to this movie. I don't know if it's like confirmed, but considering how much of a hit it was, I feel like a sequel would be inevitable.
I remember seeing news articles that it was greenlit, but considering like James Gunn is like now shaking up everything over there, everything's just still like up in the air.
I mean, everything in general at WB is just up in the air, considering how much shitting the bed they're doing. But, it's
like
it's not just DC.
Legendary is now moving over to Sony with the MonsterVerse.
For the best, I would say.
As long as they produce more MonsterVerse movies, I'm still happy.
You're still happy. Yeah. No, but like I feel like. If they never do a sequel, I guess it would be fine because, this movie was fine on its own. But if they do, I feel like I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a serious Mr. Freeze. That would be pretty cool because I think that's a really cool idea for a sympathetic villain of having like, his wife dying of a disease and he's trying to like find the cure and he's like doing anything he can. Like, that's a genuinely good story that unfortunately was adapted in Batman and Robin of all movies. It's like
cast Arnold Schwarzenegger.
Exactly. I think it could work. Whether or not it ends up working out, it's still something I'd like to see.
Or if Matt Reeves does a more serious interpretation of the Condiment King.
You know what? He could probably do it. You know what? Anything's possible at this point.
I was fired from my job at the condiment factory. Now everyone must pay.
Yeah. I'll kill them with ketchup and mustard.
He relishes death.
Damn it, that's so gonna be a line in that hypothetical movie. All right. Was there anything else you wanted to say about the Batman before I move on to talking about this Blu-ray I have of it?
If we do get Mr. Freeze in the sequel, if the sequel happens, it would be interesting as like I think a more blue color palette because this one had a more red orange thing going on. So like it switches to a more blue color palette.
I feel like that would be interesting. Like, yeah, it's like wintertime during Gotham, and there's like more blue to it.
Christmas in Gotham.
I agree. Ooh, yeah. Well, they have done Christmas in Gotham because remember, Batman Returns is
Yeah.
technically a Christmas movie. So,
Yeah,
totally,
that's true.
they could totally do that.
Or hell, make a Hanukkah special.
I'll make a
8 crazy nights in Gotham.
8 crazy nights in Gotham. That's a technical foul.
Batman beats the shit out of a criminal.
That's a technical foul. Shut up.
Shut the fuck up.
Shut the fuck up, Whitey. I'm sure Byveed is excited that we name dropped 8 Crazy Nights in this episode.
Yeah.
In any case, so I happen to have the Batman on this nice 4K Ultra HD Blu-ray.
Nice.
It looks awesome. I love the case. I love the slipcover. Do you happen to have it on a nice Blu-ray, or what's your deal?
I have a pirated copy in 4K.
Of course. Hey, that's just as good. Yeah. So, you thinking of keeping that pirated legal copy?
Yeah, it's somewhere in a USB.
Yeah, I think that's good. Yeah, because I'm totally keeping this 4K. It's a good movie. I can see myself returning to it. It looks great on 4K, so this
Yeah.
is one that's staying in the collection.
If I had a DVD player, I would get it on 4K.
Well, you would have to get like a 4K player. You can't just play it on the DVD player.
Yeah, if I had one of those, that's what I meant.
Yeah. I know. Some people just say flat out like DVD players, and that like kind of just means all kinds of disc players, I guess. So
Yeah.
no, but it makes sense. But as someone who collects and is very anal about this kind of stuff, I have to be like, actually, you need a 4K player,
It's
and
like-
you have to make sure it's region free.
It's like the people that get pissed off that people think that Link's name is Zelda because it's called The Legend of Zelda.
Yeah.
His name is Link.
Actually, his name is. Gee, it sure is boring around here.
Actually, his name is my boy.
It would be my boy. That's true. In any case, you want to move on to the next movie?
Yeah, dude.
All right, let's move on to not the Batman, but the Northman.
The Northman.
The Northman from director Robert Eggers.
Certainly.
Director of The Lighthouse, The Vavitch, and now The Northman.
Future director of Nosferatu.
Future director of Nosferatu. That is correct. All right, Nick, what did you think of The Northman?
Compared to Robert Eggers' previous movies, I'd say it's like last in my list, but that's still like they're very hard to rank.
Yeah, no, I agree. It is easily his worst, but that still makes it. Honestly, it's my favorite of the year.
It's only the worst
Northman.
by default.
It is the worst by default. Exactly. That's just because the Vavitch has a lot more going for it, and the Lighthouse is the Lighthouse. Like that's a whole other level of movie.
Yeah, but
let's
like,
be honest.
To give it this, like, if I had to choose a Robert Eggers movie that I'd be down to watch like at any time, it would definitely be The Northman. Because for the Vavitch and the Lighthouse, I have to be in a certain mood to watch those.
I agree. I honestly agree. It is this would probably be the Eggers film I would show anybody, you know? Like, I don't think I would ever show a normal person The Lighthouse.
Oh, yeah.
Just because they would just be like, what the fuck is this? This is just two dudes on an island. And I'd just be like, yeah, isn't it great? It's like, I just look like a freak at that point. Yeah. You don't get it. He beat the fucking seagull.
Bad
But
luck
in any
to
ca-
kill a gull.
You don't like me cooking?
You don't get the symbolism behind his lobsters.
Let Neptune strike ye down, you asshole.
Just
Anyway,
roasted the shit out of each other.
No. All right, we got to stop talking about the Lighthouse, or
Yeah.
else we'll just talk about the Lighthouse. No, we'll save that for another episode.
Yeah.
Anyway, the Northman, the me and the boys on our way to perform Hamlet in Viking times.
Me and the boys dancing in the fire pit.
In the fire pit, exactly. Yeah. I gotta say, like, yes, this movie definitely is very reminiscent of Hamlet, The Lion King, what have you. Just like,
Suspicious.
yeah, type movies. Even with that said, like, I think it definitely establishes itself as its own thing, despite it being kind of similar to things that have come before it. You know what I'm trying to say?
I mean, the story itself existed before Hamlet. I think this story inspired Hamlet, and thus
Right. That,
inspired like The Lion King.
I think that's what it. Yeah, that's what it is. Because, like, yeah, it's from Norse mythology. In which case, yes, this would be the original.
Yeah,
Uh,
it's the
I mean,
original Kimba the White Lion.
it is the original Kimba the White Lion. Suspicious. But yeah, I think it definitely, even with knowing its, even with knowing like all its other movies in mind, like it's still able to kind of establish itself as its own thing. You know, you watch The Northman, you're just like, yes, this is The Northman. Like these are these characters. This is the way the story is told, and I feel like it does a really good job at that. Edgers is known for like very darkly lit movies, but yet you could still see what's going on. That's something I definitely noticed was like during the night scenes, whenever Amleth is like running around trying to like uh, do his chicanery on the farm.
Chicanery.
Like, yeah, essentially. But like, you know, it's back in olden times. There's no indoor lighting unless it's from a torch. So like
Fire.
outside is just complete black. But and like the only light you get is the occasional torch and like the light of the moon. And yet I'm still able to see what's going on just
Yeah.
because the scene is color corrected right. So then I can see what's going on. It's like I really appreciated that, you know, in movies like Thor: The Dark World or Godzilla 2014.
I
You
was
get these
just about to bring up Godzilla, literally. Like,
yeah, like, but because like those are like the prime examples of having darkly lit scenes and you don't know what's going on because it's just so terribly lit.
yeah,
But it's like this movie understands that, yeah, it's at night, so it's dark, but like you as the audience member still need to see what's going on because film is a visual medium. Like, I don't know if you guys know that. It's kind of its thing.
I think what's speaking of like dark, like in terms of themes, I think it's interesting that we're talking about the Northman right now because like this is the only Robert Eggers movie with like a without a doubt a happy ending.
I think so too. I think it's the happiest ending of a Robert Eggers film.
Yeah, like you could debate on whether or not the Vavitch is a happy ending for Anya Taylor-Joy's character.
Yeah.
But like I'd say the Northman is definitely the happiest a Robert Eggers movie ever gets.
Well, I mean, it's the happiest that a main character is at the end of the movie, you
Yeah.
know, because like whether or not it actually is happy, like you could put that up for debate because it's just
he
like
got his revenge.
he got his revenge, but like he abandoned his wife, he abandoned his well, not his wife, he abandoned Anya Taylor-Joy, who's carrying his child now, or his next of kin. But it's just like, okay,
And he dies.
and he dies. It's just like, did you like you've made yourself feel better because you honored you brought back honor to your name, but then it's like I don't know, like did you actually like? I guess that's one of those like does he know? Like, well, it's one of those philosophical questions. It's just like, did he actually get revenge? Does he actually feel better? Like, is he actually going into the great beyond to Valhalla or whatever the fuck it's called? It's
did he like? Is it actually like a good ending for him, or is it
exactly? I mean, whether or not it's actually a happy ending, the main character's happy, and I mean, the past two times, I don't know if the two main characters have been happy in an Edgers film by the end. I mean, The Lighthouse. Certainly not, but
Yeah.
you know,
like?
but yeah,
The Lighthouse, it's like kicking and screaming.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, but that comes back to it being kind of like Edger's more accessible film. Like, and I mean, this probably would be his most accessible film. Like, it's the one with the biggest budget. It's the one that's been done through a bigger studio than A24. I believe it was like
this is. I think this was his first one, like under a major studio.
Yeah, Regency and Focus. It's like, yeah, it's like these are much bigger studios, so he's dealing with much bigger budgets and stuff like that. And
bigger
I mean, you can definitely
as well. Like
you could see it on the screen. Like
the money is clearly on the screen. Like the amount of scale in this movie is like, my God. I'm glad we're still getting movies like this, Dune, that, like, I don't think I'll ever call a Marvel movie big in scale, because it doesn't feel that way. You know what I mean?
Yeah. The last one that felt big in scale was Endgame, and that's because it had a budget of $500 million.
Yeah,
if even that. Like
this one had like just as big a scale as Endgame did, in my opinion, and it only cost like what, $100 million?
70 million, I believe.
70 million, yeah.
But yeah, no, totally. It's one of those things where it's like it all depends. Money has nothing to, well, sometimes it does have something to do with it, but like it is about how you take what you're given and put it up on the screen there. Like Edgers knows what he's doing. Like he's a really talented director. You know, as I said, even though I think this is his weakest film, like he knows what he's doing, and this is only like his third film, his third feature, I believe.
Yeah, and now he's doing an adaptation of Nosferatu,
which I'm so looking forward to. I know it's gonna be awesome. I mean, I hope it's awesome. If it's not, I'm gonna be sorely disappointed.
They ditched Harry Styles, which, thank God.
I didn't even know that would have been a possibility. Oh God,
he was like slated to be in it, but. Like then they got rid of him. I think the only people attached so far are let me look it up real quick.
Sure. I mean, to be fair, Harry Styles wouldn't have liked it, because it's not a movie that you can like go to the movie theaters to see a movie, or whatever the fuck his stupid ass quote was. I forget what it was, but it was something ridiculous like that.
I like it because it's a movie. It's a real movie.
It's a real movie. I mean, it is a real movie, Nosferatu. Sorry to say, Harry.
Yeah, the only people involved with it so far are Bill Skarsgård, Nicholas Hoult, and Lily Rose Depp. I think Willem Dafoe and Anya Taylor-Joy are like slated to be in it too.
I would have loved that. I hope Willem Dafoe and Anya Taylor-Joy.
I mean, Willem Dafoe is like a frequent collaborator with Robert Eggers.
Well, 2 films. I mean, same with Anya Taylor-Joy, because she's been in 2 films. But yeah, no, like I consider them Edgar staples.
I'd be interested to see what he does with Bill Skarsgård. Like,
100%. Like, say what you will about him in as Pennywise, but I think he can be.
He's fantastic as Pennywise, in my opinion. And if he's slated to play the titular Nosferatu, I think he'd knock it out of the park, especially under Robert Eggers' direction.
Yeah, definitely. So that's definitely something I'm looking forward to in 2020. Well, whenever it comes out. I actually don't know when it comes out. In any case, the Northman. Was there anything else you wanted to say about the Northman? I'll just say this: it is easily my movie of the year. I mean, so far, because I haven't seen every single 2022 film, but...
Oh, you're a movie fan? Name every movie.
Name every movie. But yeah, from what I have seen, this is easily my favorite of the year. But yeah, did you have anything else you wanted to say before I talk about this Blu-ray?
Alexander Skarsgård, you are ripped like a god. Please give me your routine.
Oh my god. Dude, he was fucking massive.
I know, Jesus. Right? Like, holy fuck.
He's a unit. I was thinking about this, like, when I not to bring up Marvel just to shit on it again, but that's exactly what I'm gonna do. Like, whenever I see like Chris Hemsworth in those movies, I'm always just like, yeah, he's a big guy for you, but like I was like, I've never like really been that impressed. I mean, maybe that's because every guy character in the MCU now has like a 6-pack.
Every guy character in the MCU has to be ripped.
Yeah, has to be ripped in some way. Even Ant-Man has to be ripped. But in any case, like, but when you see like Skarsgård in this movie, and he's just like this big fucking unit, you're just like, Jesus, that's a Viking. Like, Jesus Christ.
He beat the shit out of me.
He could punch me once and I would die.
Literally.
Oh God. But yeah, no, it was freaking awesome.
Yeah, just Alexander, if you are listening to this, please give me your routine. I want to be ripped like a god.
Yeah. Yeah. Same. In any case, I have it on this nice Blu-ray, meaning now I officially have every single Edgers film on Blu-ray, because I do have the Vivitch and Lighthouse on Blu-ray, which I wish they were on like nicer 4Ks. I don't know if those exist. I'd like for those to exist. I feel like just having the Lighthouse on a standard Blu-ray is kind of a disservice to that movie, but whatever. In any case, this is a nice Blu-ray for the Northman. It looks great. I like how the description of the movie is so short. It goes, from visionary director Robert Edgers comes The Northman, an action-filled epic that follows a young Viking prince on his quest to avenge his father's murder.
I mean, it's better than the description Netflix gave RRR.
Yeah, exactly. Like it's to the point. That's exactly what happens in the movie. That's all you need to know. So I appreciate that. Thank you, Northman Blu-ray, distributed by Universal. Piece of shit.
Piece of shit making Jurassic World Dominion. Fuck you.
Yeah, fuck you. Fuck you. In any case, I will say I'm not a fan of the cover. I'm looking at it because it's that Marvel floating head cover where it's like you have all the characters just kind of weirdly in there.
I prefer that on the social media account. I was just like, no, not you too.
Yeah, it doesn't look great. I mean, it's not the worst floating head poster I've ever seen.
Like
but
it could look better.
It could have looked better. I prefer like the poster on Letterboxd where it's just like him on like a cliff and it's like overlooking like a ship or something like that. Like,
oh yeah,
it's simple, but like it gets to the point. But I mean, now that I have the patron member on Letterboxd, I changed the poster to something different, and I prefer that poster. But whatever. Sure. In any case, I'm keeping this Blu-ray in my collection. I assume, well, if you ever get it on Blu-ray, I highly recommend it. But
I think
would
you
ever keep it?
This one.
Okay, that's okay too. It's just as valid. But yeah, it's keeping in my collection for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Northman. It really was north. But rather than talking about something just being in the north, let's talk about something that was everywhere, all at once.
Hey.
Yeah, that's right. We're going to be talking about Morbius now. So, I got you, didn't I?
Yeah, you got me good.
Yeah, no, we're not talking about Morbius.
My favorite part of the movie was when Evelyn said, it's everything in time, and she everywhere and all over the place at once.
That's good. You saved it. Nice. Anyway, no, we're not talking about Morbius. I will save that for a different episode. Don't you worry. In any case, let's talk about Everything Everywhere All at Once, the movie from the Daniels.
Daniel Kwan and Daniel Scheinert.
Yeah, exactly. This was, well, it's not my favorite of the year. This was definitely the movie of the year. I don't know if you'd agree with that.
I'd say it's mine, for sure. Like,
yeah,
it's great.
Yeah, it was a really surprising movie for me. I mean, I was expecting it to be wacky, but like, it definitely went places that I didn't expect it to. But I'm glad that it did.
Would you say that it went everywhere?
Well, I mean, that is something that kind of bugs me about it. So let me just get some criticisms out of the way in that upon rewatch, because I have seen it twice now, because I watched it once in theaters and I watched it on Blu-ray, I will say I do think it is a bit all over the place. Now, even when I watched it for the first time, I knew that was intentional, because it's like, I mean, the fucking title is Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, you're gonna be dealing with a lot in this movie. It is a lot to take in. Now, with that said, I understand that it is a bit much at times. I feel like it didn't need to be as long as it was. And you said you could probably shave 30 minutes off of the Batman. I wouldn't shave 30 minutes off this movie, but like, I probably would shave, a couple seconds here and there, kind of whittle it down just a little. Me personally, of course, but like, I'm sure not everybody shares that sentiment.
Yeah. I think just like the whole experience, like I remember the first time I saw this movie was in IMAX. Like they released it in like a limited IMAX showing, and oh my god, it was incredible.
No, that sounds it. Like that's something so I didn't see it in IMAX. I just saw it in standard digital. But even with it being in standard digital, it looked great on the big screen.
Like every scene with the bagel shook the entire theater.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. So even that theater was on that bagel, it seems. Wow. Yeah. No. So I feel like this probably should have been something I saw in IMAX, but what am I made out of money? No, I'm not. In any case, yeah, so even with it dealing with a lot, like, a lot did work for me. Like, the action, for example. Holy crap,
oh
like,
my god, yeah.
So good.
The fight scene with Wayman and the security guards.
So good.
The
so
choreography,
good.
god damn.
I know, it's not, yeah, like, I'm almost speechless, but, like, it genuinely is so good, the fight choreography. Like, I'm like the whole time I'm just like, how are they doing that? How are they doing that? Like, what is going on? Like, holy crap! Like, this is so impressive, and yeah, it's wacky, and I like that. I like when movies are absurd, but they're like absurd in a way that still makes it entertaining.
It's absurd in a way that makes sense.
I mean, that's a bit of a paradox, but no, you're 100% correct. Like, yeah, absolutely.
Like, I think my favorite part, one of my favorite bits of the IMAX theater, in the IMAX bit was like, remember when Evelyn was like in the hot dog universe?
Yeah.
And they showed like the 2001 scene with like the monkeys with the hot dog fingers.
That, oh my god, I forgot about that scene, and then when it came back up, I'm just like, oh, it's so good. It's such a good cutaway gag. But like,
I remember I when I first saw that, I couldn't breathe. I literally couldn't breathe. I was like, I was legitimately gasping while I was laughing.
That's such a good scene.
Yeah.
My personal favorite was the trophy scene. So like, when Evelyn's fighting that one guard, trying to get the trophy away from him, and then the bald one just comes running up, and it's obviously censored, and then he like that scene is now one of my new favorite moments in a theater, because the audience would not stop laughing 5 minutes after that scene. Like, it was fantastic. So funny. It was fantastic, and it's so funny. Oh god, and just hearing people like die laughing. I'm pretty sure the guy sitting next to me like fell out of his chair. He was laughing so hard at that scene.
Rakakuni was another highlight of the movie for me. Like,
oh my god, yeah. Like, the funny thing about Rakakuni was like how it at first I thought it was like, oh, it's just like a funny like one-off joke. It's just like, oh, she just misremembers something. And then like later in the movie, Evelyn in that universe walks into the kitchen and there's a fucking raccoon just helping him cook food. It's just like, whoa, like, you're actually taking advantage of this joke. Like,
you know what's actually everything. You know what's also really funny?
Yeah.
The raccoon is voiced by Randy Newman.
Yeah, and he's voiced by Randy Newman, which is kind of weird because did Randy Newman work on Ratatouille?
I don't know, but like, considering like the Pixar alumni joke, I think it works like perfectly.
Oh yeah, it still works as a joke. Don't get me wrong.
And they made like a song he made a song for the movie called "Now We're Cooking."
Now we're cooking. Oh, of course he did.
And it's actually a bop.
Yeah, it sounds it. Oh my god, like, so. And I was just gonna say, like, they take advantage of everything. Like, yeah, that's part of the title. I get it. I get what the title is saying, like, everything everywhere all at once. It takes advantage. Like, that's not just like a one-off thing. Like, one-off things actually play a part in the movie. Like, that's brilliant.
They take full advantage of the multiverse concept, like,
exactly.
Like just like Spider-Verse did. Like, and I hope that Across the Spider-Verse does the same thing, which, like, from the looks of it, it seems like it.
Mm-hmm.
Where they're
I mean,
showing,
it's
like,
hard to tell.
Different spider beings, but like I remember people were comparing this to the new Doctor Strange movie, where they only showed like glimpses of other universes for like one scene, and that's it.
Yeah, that was such a weird choice in that movie. I mean, say what you will about that movie, it's weirdly polarizing. I don't know why, but whatever. In any case, like, yeah, of course, like, Everything Everywhere is much better at tackling the multiverse than that movie was. And I mean, even again, like, even after seeing both of them, it's just like, yeah, because this movie takes advantage of there being a multiverse, whereas that movie was like, there were like what, 3 different universes explored in that movie. It's like that's not really multiverse of madness.
Was like, we're traffic lights, red means go.
Yeah.
Oh.
Real depth of creativity there you got there, MCU.
Yeah.
Although I will say, Pizza Papa always gets paid.
Yeah. that was the good bit, because I remember all the Marvel fans in my theater were pissed at the end credits scene.
No, how do you get pissed off at Bruce Campbell, you fucking idiots?
They don't know who Bruce Campbell is. They just,
oh my god,
like the guy in front of me was just like, that's it.
That's, oh my god, morons!
Don't get it,
all of you. Am I the only one around here who appreciates that?
I really hate to be that guy, but like, you literally don't get it.
Yeah. Get on the same level as me.
Watch
me, the Evil Dead enjoyer. Yeah, watch Evil Dead. Watch Evil Dead. That's what. And listen to my Evil Dead episode. Sorry to shill, but you know, it's what I do. Oh, what were we talking about? Oh yeah, Everything Everywhere. Yeah, no, it's. They take full advantage. They really, really do. It's exhausting, but I'm glad that it is. Like, yeah. And yeah, I say that I would shave off a couple minutes, but that's what I would do personally. I'm glad that the Daniels made the movie that they wanted to make. So if that means I have to be exhausted while watching this movie, so be it. Like, I still think it works really well.
Michelle Yeoh as well is so good.
Oh my god, she does an immaculate job. Yeah, she does great. Like, I feel like I've known people like her in my life.
Exactly.
Like the way she talks, like the mannerisms that she has. It's like, I've known people like that.
And we also need more people like Waymond. Waymond.
Oh god, Waymond was the best. Like, I related to Waymond on a personal level, dude. It was amazing.
I love Waymond, and I'm glad that the actor, I can never pronounce his name for the life of me, but
yeah, it's like
so glad that he's getting noticed now.
Yeah, dude, I was just like, oh, that's Data from the Goonies and Short Round from Temple of Doom, and now he's Waymond and Everything Everywhere, and he does a great job. Like, it's just like, holy shit.
He got casted in season 2 of Loki, and I'm just like, you know what? He deserves it. Good for him.
Yeah, good for him. It's also funny because, like, I knew he was those characters for, well, just because I looked it up on Letterboxd, but also because, like, he sounds the exact same. Like, I didn't realize, like, that's just his voice now. Like, which he does great. It's a great voice. It's a great performance. It's a really good character. I loved his character in the movie, like, a whole lot. Which, it's funny that, like, I loved Waymond so much because you know, a lot of people compared Everything Everywhere to Turning Red when it first came out because they do tackle similar themes. And one of my biggest criticisms, well, not biggest criticisms, but something I definitely criticized in my Turning Red review on Letterboxd was that I said, you know, I really wish the dad character was kind of taken more advantage of. Like, he actually was a character and not just, you know, someone who says a speech in the third act of that movie. But
like,
yeah, that's Turning Red.
Character, you gotta put your head up.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas, like, here in Everything Everywhere, like, Waymond was everything I wanted from the dad character in that movie. Like, he actually is a character. He has a personality. He actually has relevance in all his scenes. Like, he's an actual character. Yeah, he's involved in the movie. And so then I'm able to feel for him as a character. In which case, I'm also able to feel for all the other characters. So it's just something that always bugged me about Turning Red. But, like, you know, that's a whole other discussion for another time.
That's a whole other can of worms that we should get into now.
Yeah, you should probably not. Is there anything else you wanted to say about Everything Everywhere?
The rock scene was scene of the year for me. Like,
the rock scene, I was not expecting that scene the way that it was shot. But, man, I'm glad it was in the movie because... we need more. Well, in a good way, we need more scenes like that. Not like a specific like every movie now needs to have a scene with rocks in it, but like like just absurdist out there concepts being taken advantage of.
Yeah.
Like we need more of that.
It works on many levels. It's like it's funny, but it's also emotionally wrecking.
Yeah, and it has relevance. It's shot in a great way. Like it's not just oh haha, there's no talking in this scene. It's like they actually take advantage of it.
Yeah, and like I literally have that scene as my computer wallpaper. Like I have.
Well, there you go.
I have Just Be a Rock as my wallpaper.
There you go. It's Just Be a Rock as your wallpaper. It just hit me. Wait a minute. Like yeah.
Just be a rock.
Paper. No, that's awesome. Like, that's. I mean, it's a very famous scene in the movie. I mean, a lot of scenes are famous in that.
It's now iconic.
I know there's just so many iconic moments in that movie for sure. I don't know how well it's gonna do at the Oscars, but honestly, I don't need it to do well at the Oscars because I love it already. So
yeah, they put googly eyes on the trophy.
Ooh, that would be clever. That would be clever. They put googly eyes on the Oscar statue.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if they win it all. But yeah, no, totally.
I can definitely see like a best supporting actor for Wayman.
Ke Huy Quan.
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. I could see a best actress for Michelle Yeoh.
Oh yeah, for sure. Like, I think the only actress that stands in her way is Michelle Williams in The Fabelmans.
Probably.
Like,
yeah,
it's between
honestly,
her and Michelle Yeoh.
Yeah, honestly, I couldn't tell you any other Oscar predictions. We don't have to turn this part into an Oscar predictions part because, honestly, I got nothing. Like, you ask me, like, oh, who's going to win? It's like, I honestly rarely ever watch the movies that do end up getting nominated for Oscars, so I can never tell, like, who's actually... Because, like, I obviously have my biases, but, I'm never right. Yeah. So, unfortunately.
I feel like I think the only shoe-in is probably Brendan Fraser.
Well, I still have yet to see The Whale. I do need to see it, though.
That'll wreck you.
I'm sure it will. Yeah, no. I do need a good Brendan Fraser wrecking, for sure.
He's going to wreck it.
I'm going to wreck it. Brendan Fraser is live-action Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh, God, no.
I'm kidding. I didn't mean it.
Disney, I'm kidding. Please don't do that.
Yeah, please, Disney. It was a joke in Minecraft. I wasn't serious. They never listened to me. It's okay. All right. So do you have this on Blu-ray or DVD or anything?
I pirated this too.
I pirated it too. Well, that's right. I remember the last episode you were here. You talked about you don't really have much of a collection, but that's okay.
Yeah.
In any case, are you going to keep that pirated version?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Yeah, of course. I have a feeling this is one we're definitely going to be revisiting. I will say, I think upon rewatch of this movie, it's probably my least favorite of the three that we just talked about that I have on Blu-ray. Now, with that said, that's like saying The Northman is the weakest of the Robert Edgers movies. Like, it's still awesome. Like, Everything Everywhere All at Once. Like, I have yet to actually meet somebody who downright hates this movie. There's no way. Like, I mean, there's no freaking way.
I think Everything Everywhere is probably one of the few movies that I would recommend to everybody.
Oh, for sure.
Like,
yeah, same.
Like, I think everybody has at least something to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it has such a diverse like amount of lessons that somebody could get out of it, or like a diverse amount of characters. Like, you said that you knew people like Michelle Yeoh's character. Like, I feel like a lot of people can definitely relate to her and get a lot out of her.
Yeah, I've definitely met people who are like her daughter, like Joy. I've definitely met people who are like Waymond. I've definitely met people who are like Jamie Lee Curtis's character. Like, they just feel like real people at that point. Like, they're just, not only are the performances really good, which they all are, but like even just the writing of these characters, it's like,
they're not like caricatures of anybody. They're just
they feel like
people.
real people. Like, it feels genuine, and I appreciate that. It's just like, yeah. And I like that there's no true villain in this movie. I mean, it's kind of hard to, make a villain out of anybody. I mean, there's antagonists, but you understand completely where they're coming from.
That's it.
Exactly. It's nihilism. And even then, it's like, you understand why the character is nihilistic and stuff like that. So it's not explored in a Rick and Morty way. It's actually explored in like an actually genuine way.
I was just about to bring up Rick and Morty, like... God, imagine if like the people who write Rick and Morty did this movie. It would be like infinitely worse.
It would be the worst. Oh my God, it would be so terrible. It would be genuinely one of the cringiest things ever made, and it would be like, it would be Reddit the movie. Let's be honest. It would be
like it would literally just be like the whole. It would be Chip and Dale.
Oh, yeah, it would be. Chip and Dale was the worst movie I had seen this year until Moon Crash came along. So,
like
Chip and Dale, what
a
failure!
I have to convince you that John Mulaney is funny. He's just in bad shit all the time.
Yeah, it's just totally. I mean, yeah, that was with he was in Puss in Boots. He was Big Jack Horner, and he was really fucking funny in that movie.
Yeah, I know.
And then you put him in Chip and Dale, and he's
I saw him live, awful. And he was really funny. He's just really bad. He just has a shitty agent.
Oh my God, the worst agent.
He's in 5 seasons of fucking Big Mouth.
Yeah, that's when like your agent hates you at that point. They're doing that on purpose, honestly.
Yeah.
In any case, yeah, I'm keeping Everything Everywhere all at once. It's a good movie. It's a good Blu-ray. Yeah, it's a total keep in the collection.
Yep. I'll keep it in the USB for safekeeping.
Well, there you go. Okay. Well, was there anything else you wanted to say before we wrap things up? Any thoughts on 2022? Any thoughts for 2023?
Watch Megan in theaters now.
Watch Megan in theaters. I was just going to say, also watch Megan in theaters.
Yeah,
in any case,
I can't wait to really just get high, and it looks like a fantastic high movie.
Yeah, it does. I was just going to say, I think, I probably wouldn't say 2022 is the worst year for movies. I think I may still stand by 2021 being a lot worse, for me personally.
Yeah.
But even then, like, the more years go by, the more you definitely realize it's a year. Like, it doesn't mean anything. Like, there's gonna be terrible shit for movies. There's gonna be awesome movies just as well. Like
2021 had Space Jam 2, but at the same time, it had Dune.
Yeah, exactly. Those are perfect examples of, like, the weighing the pros and cons of a given year. Like, yeah, this year I had the Northman and the Batman and Everything Everywhere, but on the same flip of the coin, yeah, it also had Black Adam and Fresh and, like I said, Chip and Dale. Like, there's going to be shit. There's going to be good stuff. It doesn't matter what year. So, exactly. And I still have movies that I have not seen from 2022. I still have movies I have not seen from 2021. I still have movies I have not seen from 2019 that are still on my watch list on Letterboxd.
From every year.
Exactly. Every year has a movie that is in my watch list, but also just has a movie that I have not yet seen. Every year has something that I have not seen yet, because there's billions of movies out there. We're not going to get to all of them, but I'd like to. I will say that. In any case, I'm looking forward to 2023. I got 3 movies I'm looking forward to. 2 unironically, 1 big ironically.
I'm guessing the ironically one is The Flash.
Oh my god, yeah, I can't wait to see The Flash and see how shitty it is. It's genuinely going to be so shitty. I can't wait to see, because the only reason I know it's going to be shitty is because I know WB, to cover up all the Ezra Miller controversy, they're going to put in like so many cameos and fan service.
And now
I
they're
can't
considering
wait.
Ezra Miller as the Flash for James Gunn's universe.
Exactly. I can't wait to see what shit they pull. To distract the cooming fucking nerd bros out there, just to be like, "Whoa,
yeah.
look, it's Michael Keaton as Batman." It's like, I can't wait to see the shit they pull. Like, it's gonna be amazing. But if we're talking genuinely good movies that I'm looking forward to, or genuine movies that I'm looking forward to, not saying they're good because I haven't seen them, but we'll just have to wait and see. I am looking forward to Spider-Verse 2, and I am looking forward to Dune 2. Like, those are genuinely movies I am looking forward to.
Yeah,
you know?
Spider-Verse 2. I'm curious to see what Scream 6 will do.
I mean, I'm curious too.
I know that you're not the biggest fan of Scream, but like, I'm still seeing it.
I might still see it too, just because, I mean, where do you go with Scream at this point? Like,
I mean, they're in New York now.
Yeah, the Muppets Take Manhattan all over again, I guess.
Jason Takes Manhattan.
Yeah.
Oh,
all right.
Scream 6, Lost in New York.
Scream 6, Lost in New York. That's good. All right, Nick, I think we've gone on for long enough. It's an hour and 15, according to Audacity.
All right.
The audacity of Audacity.
The audacity. The audacity.
The audacity, Lois.
The Lois.
All right. We've gone on for long enough, I'd say. All right, Nick, please shout out your stuff. Where can people find you?
I'm on YouTube at Mr. Bamason. I am no longer on Twitter because fuck that site.
Good.
Yeah, just find me on YouTube. I got nothing going on currently in terms of work, but I'll have something out later this month, hopefully.
Nice. Yeah, I'll be sure to link all your stuff in the description below, your YouTube, your Letterboxd, and whatnot.
Oh yeah, follow my Letterboxd. My most popular review is for Trolls.
Hey, yeah, no, it's a good review, I gotta say. It gives me a hearty lull every time I see it. So,
thanks, man.
Yeah, no problem. All right, thank you all for listening and watching and doing whatever it is you did to get to this moment. So yeah, thanks for watching. I'll see you all next time, and always remember, something in the way.
Something's in my ass. Just for